Okay, so we are now on the active assessment portion of the athletic assessment here. So we're going to do a squat clearing test. Now, from what I was able to reference with his shoulder flexibility and the shoulder rotation from the passive assessment, we found out that he is able to get 90 degrees of shoulder flexion going up here this way. So what I'm going to ask my dad here to do is to raise his arms up overhead straight and to perform 3 reps of this squat. Yep, good. Let's do 2 more. Good. All the way down. And up. Yeah, perfect. All right, so he's able to demonstrate good alignment with midline stability as he performs this squat test. All right, the second portion of this active assessment, so we have here my dad's going to perform a push-up test. And what I'm trying to look here for is how stable can his shoulder blades be in this position as he goes into this push-up. And what I'm also trying to look for is, does this arch here of his shoulder blades, does it have a collapse? And is there winging here of either of his shoulder blades? So I'm going to have my dad here do is to get into a plank position here. I'm going to have him perform 3 controlled repetitions to just see how his shoulder blades move here. Can you perform those for me? Good. Good. Okay, and then remain right here. So as I can see here, so I can't fit any of my hands into his shoulder blades here as he's in this position. So he has very good stability here of his shoulder blades, which he has passed this test. All right, and then we come to our third portion of the active assessment here. And what I have here is my dad is sitting in a pretzel position, and he has his dowel right here to be used as a point of reference to see how well on each side of his thoracic spine that he can rotate to his left and to his right. So I'm going to come here from behind him this way. I'm going to actually put my leg right there against his back so he has a pivot point here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my dad take a deep breath in at this moment here. So deep breath in. And then he can rotate to either side and then exhale. Good, so right there, that looks good. And then reset, inhale again. And then exhale to the other side. Good, and then back to center. All right, awesome. So from neutral, he is able to definitely get at least 40 degrees of rotation to here, his left, and to his right. So he's done very well in this test. All right, so the next part of the test here on the active assessment is I have my dad here in a kneeling lunge position here, and we're going to perform shoulder circles on both arms in this case. So my dad is going to face his arms straight forward in front of him this way with his palms facing towards this camera. And then what I'm going to have my dad do is to reach his arm up overhead. And then as soon as he gets straight up to here at this point, then he turns the hand. And good, and he tries to go all the way in a 360-degree pattern there. Good, and then just do one more here for me. Good. Yeah, perfect. All right, so he looks excellent on that side. There are no restrictions. There's no leaning away or leaning away from here with the hips. So we're now going to go test on his left arm in this case. We're going to see how that rotates. Good, and then flip the hand over. And do that one more time. Yeah, flip the hand over. All right, great. So he's got the same amount of range of motion on this side as well. So he's done very well on this test. All right, so we're going to go on to the 5th portion of the active assessment here. So my dad has the dowel right here in his hand. And what that dowel is going to do in this part of this test is going to prevent him from flaring his elbows out this way as he tries to go up and down with his wall slide. So I'm going to have him do that right now. So here from this position, so he can actually have his elbows a little below his shoulders. He doesn't have to go all the way down here to the point where your elbows are coming down to your rib cage. So So he's right here. And then what I'm going to have him do is perform 3 reps of these wall slides. Yep, good. Good. And then let's go one more. Good. And relax. Okay. So we do see that his wrists are able to maintain contact with the wall. I also do see that his ribs also do flare out from this test. Okay, so we come down to the global extension and the global flexion of this test, which is going to enable us, for me in this case as a coach, to cross-reference all of the other aspects of the test that we've done, especially in the passive assessment. So what I have here is that my dad is seated right here on the floor on all hands and knees here, so almost in like a reverse quadruped position. And what I'm going to cue him to do is to get himself into a reverse table and extend up as much as he can. And try to create this flat surface here as best as we can. And it looks like we do get that. We do get good shoulder extension and as well as hip extension right here in this position. So he definitely looks great at this test. We can come down. And then the last part of the test is the global flexion. So I'm going to have my dad basically come on his back. And it's going to be almost in like this crunch position as we see him here. And then his ankles are going to be dorsiflexed up, kind of flex them up a little more this way, good. And I'm going to slowly pull him down this way and then pull him back forward and see if he can maintain this flexion position. So here we go. All right, you ready? Here we go, pull as much as I can here. Yep, good, good, good. There, and then I'm going to drop him on his back slowly and see if he can maintain this position. And here we go. All right, awesome. Okay, and he looks excellent on that global flexion test. So we now have a pretty good idea of all these diagnostics that we performed on him to see what we can do in his program.